Greetings everyone, I am Thakard, and today I am talking Grim Dawn. I just recently finished my first playthrough on the normal difficulty. When I say I have so much more to learn, that is not hyperbole. I have barely scratched the surface on builds and strategies. I did, however, learn some things during my playthrough that I think can help other new players. So here are 5 tips to make a new player's first run just a bit more enjoyable. First off, every mastery is viable. This was the best piece of advice my friend Mambu gave me when I started this game. He told me that I didn't have to start with a meta build to be effective. I could play what I wanted. I could make my own hero in whatever way was going to be the most enjoyable for me. So, at achieving level 2, you can pick your first mastery, which is just Grim Dawn's name for a class. I, personally, wanted to go melee and smash stuff while toting around a shield. The ever so classic sword and board. So, my first mastery was Soldier. At level 10, you get to choose your second mastery. Now, the interesting thing about Grim Dawn is that because you are using 2 different masteries to create your final hero class, your actual number of possible hero types is rather large. If you are playing with just the 6 masteries in the base game, you will have 15 possible classes to try out. If you have the expansions, that adds 3 more masteries, and that goes to 36 possible classes to try out. This doesn't even count how you can change each one of those 36 classes by just using different skill builds in each one. Now you have plenty of options, and they can all be fun and work. Now let's go back to my choice. I first chose Soldier, so this second mastery would make my hero. I could become a commando, a blade master, a battle mage, or a warder. But I decided to go with the occultist as my second mastery. That made me a witchblade. And I think that might be one of the coolest names of a class ever in any game. I combine the Thakard smash of the soldier with the ability to curse my opponents and cause them to begin bleeding profusely all over the place. And that, to me, sounded like fun. My second tip for you today goes along with the first, and that is respeccing. While you are playing, don't be afraid to use your skill points. If you want to feel how different skills or devotions combine, test it out. One great thing you can do in game is respec those points whenever you like. This goes for both your skill points and your devotion points. In-game, there is an NPC you can talk to called the Spirit Guide. This NPC will let you unlearn those skill points for just some in-game currencies, which you will probably have plenty of. Later in the game, you will also be able to get special potion drops from certain quests and nemesis bosses that will allow you to reset your attribute and devotion points. So, don't be afraid to experiment. There are so many options available that it might seem overwhelming. Don't let it be. Try it out and see what makes you smile and enjoy yourself. My next tip for you today is about your gear, specifically components. These are items that will drop from chests or your defeated foes. Each one of these components can be added to a piece of your gear. The big thing is you will get a lot of these, so don't be afraid to again experiment for what works best. If you don't like the component you put into a piece of gear, you can always remove it by finding an inventor. This NPC will allow you to destroy the component and save the piece of gear, or vice versa. Each one of these components will help make that piece of gear better. They could grant you more armor, resistances, damage, health, even your overall stats. So, when you pick up a new piece of gear that looks interesting, put a component on it. Get the most out of that piece of gear. Don't go around with a nerfed item. My fourth tip for you is to not sleep on crafting. As you play, you will begin picking up recipes from your vanquished foes. You can also buy recipes from faction vendors as well as vendors inside challenge dungeons. By the way, the vendors in those challenge dungeons won't always have the same recipes, so check back each time you run the dungeon. On one of your earliest missions of the game, you will be able to gain access to the blacksmith. This NPC will then do all the labor if you just bring him the recipes and ingredients. These recipes will allow you to craft new gear, components, consumables, and relics. All of these newly crafted items can help you to again mold your character to what you want. Anything from additional defense, attack, movement speed, or even new skills. My only word of caution for you is about rare ingredients. These have a chance to drop off of bigger bosses or their bigger loot chests. So, you will have less of these than normal ingredients. I'm not saying you should hoard them, just know they are harder to find. My final tip for this video is the importance of exploration. Crate Entertainment loves to hide things. For example, to get devotion points, you must first unlock them at shrines. Now, some shrines are just super obvious and right on the main mission path. Others are in caves that might not even show up on your map. Another thing, don't think the edge of the map is actually the edge of the map. There are plenty of places you can get into that are outside the borders of your map. These areas might just lead to a simple loot box, or if you're playing the Forgotten Gods expansion, whole dungeons for you to explore. As you explore these hidden areas, you will fight unique bosses that drop exotic gear specific to them. You can also find shrines, lore, and plenty of other loot. So, be mindful as you do your exploration. If you see what looks like a path off to the side, stop and go check it out. It may just contain that gear you really want. So those were the 5 tips I am covering today. I hope that if you are a new player, these tips are going to be helpful to you. As for you veterans of the game, please leave more tips down below. Now, this video was all about tips to make you feel more comfortable with the game. My next video will give you some tips that veterans have given to me to help my daily life easier. So, make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss that upcoming video. Also, if this video was enjoyable or helpful, please give it a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. Thank you all, and goodbye.